Hey, Catherine, welcome to the Intelligent Rebellion podcast. Thank you so much for coming on board. We've just had a little bit of a mini chat and we decided to actually start recording. But do you want to just introduce yourself to the world? Tell us who you are, what your deal is.
Of course. Hi, Ria and everyone. My name is Catherine Chong, and I'm an accredited practicing dietitian and a certified fertility dietitian. Thank you so much, Ria, for inviting me.
No problem. It's my absolute pleasure. Thank you for coming on. This is part of the awards episode that I'm doing, and you are a very recent award recipient.
Oh, thank you. Thank
What
you.
award did you win? And actually, you've won two awards in the last few years. So go out and tell the world how awesome you are. And has anything changed for you since winning these awards?
Yeah. So, well, I am really deeply honored to have been named as the Dietitian of the Year at the recent Allied Health Awards. And just early this year as well, my practice also one of the finalists as the Dietitian Australia Quality of Primary Care Award as well. So I really feel really honored and grateful that to make that into the finalists and won the Dietitian of the Year award. And Ria, to me, this award is really not just a professional milestone to me, but it really acknowledges my passions and commitment to fertility nutrition care, in specifically working with women and couples, supporting them to optimize their nutrition through evidence-based, guidance to help them to increase the fertility success and also to build a healthy pregnancy and grow a healthy baby.
And that's so fascinating to me because when we think of pregnancy, well, when I think of pregnancy and fertility specifically, diet is not something that really comes to mind. Like you kind of told, oh, make sure you don't eat this, but it's more of the things that you shouldn't be eating for whatever reason, right? How did you get into this type of very niche specific work, Catherine?
Oh, that's a really good question, Ria. So I didn't dream of becoming a fertility dietitian, never in my life. But how do I start this story? I probably have to bring you back to 15 years ago when started my uni studies. So I've been a dietitian, like I say, nearly 15 years now. Really, my journey started looking back is when I was 18. So, like I said, I never dreamed of becoming a dietitian. But there are two people that really changed my life, which is my mom and dad. So I originally from Malaysia. And, when I was 18, I didn't know what my future is going to be. But my dad decided to actually send me to Australia to study. And remind you, 20 years ago, there's no cell phone. I don't think there's mobile phone yet. And there's no internet, right? So I didn't know. I never been to a Western country.
What?
So, and my first language is actually Mandarin. So I started from literally, I can't, at that time, I can't even speak fluently in English. And that's it. One day, my dad just decided to send me to Australia to study. I was like, okay. So, yep, I was following what my dad, arrangement is. So pack my bag, pack my luggage, jump on the flight. And here I am. So I was in Melbourne. So I did my bachelor degree in at the La Trobe University. And then I moved on to Sydney Uni to do my nutrition master's degree. And that's how I became a accredited practicing dietitian. So after my uni study, and then I was applying the job and I was fortunate enough to actually get accepted to work in Singapore. So again, I packed my bag again and moved from Sydney back to Singapore.
Yeah.
But that was actually the point that I starting to understand what an allied health professional is, and also what dietitian job actually involved. So it was a job. So as a clinical dietitian working in a big hospital, supporting medical team, was really busy working the ward. But also got the opportunity to work with multidisciplinary team, so like
Mm-hmm.
nurse, doctors, or even like physio, occupational therapies. It really set me a very good foundation and also an eye-opener type of experience working in clinical care, supporting patients across different discipline. But also is at that moment, at that young age, right? I starting to think, oh, okay, could I actually work on more preventative health rather than clinical management? Because quite often we see very sick people in the hospital, and I wish, could I make that difference, right? For example, like managing diabetes or heart conditions, which is very much into nutrition and lifestyle, chronic disease. So anyway, fast forward, I left my clinical job. I'm married to my husband, which is in Sydney. Here I am. I moved back to Sydney again. And I make the decision, or I'm gonna just focus in private practice, focus in primary care, working with GP. In terms of fertility, I guess that it was really when I was in my early 30s. I decided to try to start a family. And I thought that, okay, it should be a very straightforward journey, but unfortunately didn't happen. So after trying for a good few years, and of course, I did went for health check or the scan. I consult fertility specialists, and I was really frustrated because all the advice I was given was just, all right, everything seems normal. Just keep trying. Or another 12 months. If it didn't happen, come back to see us again and we'll discuss a treatment. So I did what I was told, but 6 months into, that period, and I still haven't got pregnant. And I was like, looking at people around me, like, family members, they starting to get pregnant, and then amongst friends as well. You're like, okay, the pressure is on. I really need to do something. So that was at that time point I started to research about what women should do when they try to get pregnant. And I was like, oh my gosh, why no one told me this, right? I would have taken the action, right? Rather than wait for so many years. So I started to really dive into understand my body again, really, diving into what periods really means, or how to track ovulation, how to change specifically my diet and lifestyle, what are the ideal supplements to take. And I have to say, I was very blessed that just after a few months of implementing what I learned, I got pregnant with a beautiful boy, and he's now nearly 5 now.
Oh, wow.
But I guess that it's that journey that somewhere along the journey, I also see many women struggle like me. And like you say, nutrition is not something that was told or shared by the doctors, right? Quite often women needs to go and seek that information themselves. So that is actually inspired me. After I returned from my maternity leave, I did further training and course to become a certified fertility dietitian. And here I am. So this is probably my nearly 5 years into this specialization. I just excited, and I just really loving working with fertility client now.
And so fascinating, like that idea of your dad just being like, hey, why don't you just move to a completely foreign country that you barely understand or even know the language, and go and live and study there, to this journey of, it was actually a really quite a personal journey. And one of the questions that I had for you really was, who's your why? And we often speak about healthcare professionals will say, I wanted to help people. It seems like to me that your who was actually you, and your real urge and need and want to have your own family. But is it fair for me to say that it's you that you kind of really wanted to help initially?
I think at some degree, I say, when I often talk to women about, or hearing just their story about how they overcome each challenges of different phases of their fertility, struggles, their journey. I think it's very similar. Like you're right, Ria, is also reflecting how far along I have, become.
Yeah.
And I really hope that to transfer that positive energy and that strength and that hope that, look, everything is possible.
Mm-hmm.
Right, really giving women that they still hope that things that you can do within your control that potentially can change the outcomes.
And when it came to my sort of pregnancy journey and my journey, the only thing that I was really told about nutrition, Catherine, was don't eat sushi, don't eat salami, don't eat like oysters. And I was really sad because I like all those things.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think as someone who's probably as
Oh,
close to an expert in all of this,
yeah.
like what is the message that you want to get out to the world about nutrition and diet when it comes to fertility? Because look, I feel like I need to have you on a whole other episode to deep dive into the whole fertility and nutrition, because that's like my brain is just exploding into a million pieces right now.
Yeah.
But if you were able to get, like, what is the message that you want to get out to people? Do you want to, you know what, let's bust some myths. What are some of those really classic myths that you want to bust right here and right now?
Yeah, look, I think that when often people think about, or the doctors, when you heard about doctors suggest that to see a dietitian, quite often people think that, oh my God, is she or he is going to put me on a diet, right?
Yes.
Taking out things that I love, because
Yes.
food is life. Food is associated with so much, giving us the comfort, and that associates so much on our emotional level as well. So, but I think that, look, when you're talking about fertility or pregnancy nutrition, it's not about we want to restrict your diet, taking out a lot of food. It's all about nourishment, right? So the very first step is we talk about, and I talk about with clients, is, okay, let's have a look, looking at what you're eating. Is it really nourish your body, supporting a healthy pregnancy? So rather than taking out food, in fact, I'm doing it the other way around. I'm constantly helping clients to think about different strategies. How can I add more nutritious ingredient of food back into your diet? So basically, we want to make sure their body actually are meeting all the essential needs in order to prepare the 9-month-long pregnancy. And it's not just thinking about supporting a healthy pregnancy, but also in research, there's also a lot of data showing that certain way of eating or lifestyle can help to enhance fertility success, so the chance of getting pregnant. And of course, we're also thinking about nutrition can also play a role in minimizing certain pregnancy complication.
Yeah.
One of it could be gestational diabetes. Now, what got me even excited about is we now also know that what a woman eat, even before they got pregnant, has the influence of changing or building the future generation health. So what it means is what you eat can potentially also influence your child health.
No.
In minimizing, say, for example, certain immune condition like allergy, or could be chronic health condition. So actually, this is one of the reasons why, I was talking about, I joined this course, right, to become a certified fertility dietitian.
Yeah.
This is actually something got me like really the aha moment, got me excited about and so determined about. I want to work in this space because I think that, like I say, every woman deserves to know this information in order to make an informed decision about their diet and their lifestyle.
Yep. And you mentioned that even before you think about getting pregnant or before you even get pregnant, is there any research or what's the data saying about, like, how far out? Like, is it a year out, 2 years out? Like, when am I able to start making that change?
Yeah, it's actually called the first 1,000 days of nutrition. So the research is showing that it's probably, we're looking at 90 days before someone got pregnant.
Okay.
So about 3 months before the conception, and then throughout pregnancy and up until 2 years after the child age. That is what we call the golden period, where nutrition plays such a huge role.
I'm going silent because I'm just trying to process.
Oh, trust me. When I heard that, I was like, oh my gosh. And I think that this is something that, like I say, people often associate seeing a dietitian is like, I need to go on a diet, right? I need to restrict. I need to count calories. But really, fertility and pregnancy is all about ensuring you are nourishing yourself with the right food, but also you are preparing your body for pregnancy, as well as making sure that you really give your babies that best start in life.
So let's do like I don't know, like a crash course in this, Catherine. So for a woman who is thinking about getting pregnant, it's 90 days out.
Yeah.
What are the general guide? Again, this is very general. Obviously, go and see Catherine for more specific information.
Yeah.
What would you say are the things that people can start doing? I mean, what should we start eating? Like, what's the generally like? Yeah, go for that.
Yeah, I think that, of course, everyone eating preference is different.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has different unique needs. So individualized is the key here. But at the foundational level, you certainly want to look into your diet, whether is it in line with what is the best known type of fertility or pregnancy eating pattern, which is what we call the Mediterranean eating patterns. Okay. And this is not just favorable for fertility. This is also essentially is going to also supporting pregnancy health as well. So when we say Mediterranean eating pattern, so a few things that we want to ensure is your day-to-day diet has sufficient enough of fruits and vegetables, really embracing that whole grain with minimal processed food, regular intake of fish or seafood if you enjoy them, the use of, say, for example, extra virgin olive oil, nuts and seeds. So really at a foundational level, we want to make sure that, 90% of the time you are really in line with these eating practices. But of course, the difference working with fertility dietitian is we will be able to help you to craft your personalized meal plan diet to tailor to your requirement, right? And also your needs, looking at your blood test, preference, or even thinking about if you're a busy mom, for example, Ria, like busy mom or busy working professional, you may not be someone that, have time to cook every day. So then I have to teach my client, okay, let's have a look realistically how many days you can cook or prep your meal. And then we source suitable recipe for you. We also transfer you the meal planning skill, working with you side by side, making sure that you actually are able to do it, right? Because a lot of time people say, I know what I'm supposed to eat, but I'm just finding it so hard to do it, right?
I think it's the classic healthcare professional dilemma. I get the same thing as sort of a recovering exercise physiologist. You write this amazing program. It's research evidence based. It's great. And then you realize that it's just impossible for them to implement because of their lifestyle.
So I think that's like I said, the individualization is so important. And that's my, really my biggest approach in my practice as well is personalized tailored plan for the clients.
It's very rare for me to not be talking, and this is just it's completely blowing my mind that we spoke earlier about a multidisciplinary approach to things. And so if you had I always ask, like, if you had a one wish or one concept, if you were to design this healthcare system very specifically around women who are trying to get pregnant or in their pregnancy journey, what would this system look like for you, and what is like your ideal world?
Oh, if I got a magic wand.
Yes. Let's play magic wand.
I think specifically for fertility health, I just wish that, our future healthcare system really valued that cross-disciplinary expert working alongside with, for example, fertility specialists, right? So perhaps whether that include dietitians as part of the fertility clinic or fertility specialist team, as well as could be exercise physio as well, because I see that once again the diet and lifestyle plays such an important role, and they are really that important puzzle as part of that, fertility puzzle. So I really wish that we are able to capture clients or patients early enough of their journey.
Okay. Yeah.
Not like we wait till until they undergone several failed treatment, for example, then only we see them.
Yeah. And ideally, when would you like to first see that person? At what time?
Ideally, I would say that anyone who thinking about starting a family should be seeing a dietitian as soon as possible. Because like I say that you don't want to wait till 12 months or years after you experience fertility struggles, then only you think about fertility dietitian. Nutrition is something that's so important for even just thinking about preconception health. What it means is your health, your general health before you get pregnant, right?
Yeah.
So you just want to make sure that you are really eating right, taking the right form of pregnancy supplements in preparation for your pregnancy. Most importantly now is to feel confidence and that energy and that joy as part of the process. Right. So I would love to see, I would say that anyone, if you're thinking about trying to get pregnant, that would be very valuable to thinking about nutrition as one of the first few things that you want to
so it's almost like, okay, you've decided to try for a kid, for a baby. You've gotten rid of the contraception. You're going to find the hospital you want to go to. You want to find the doctor you want to use. And then you also want to find Catherine Chong, the dietitian that you want to work with all at the same time, because it just doesn't register. That's not something that sits as something to think about. How are you getting this message out there? What can women do for women to help spread this message?
Yeah, I think that this is why I'm so passionate about increasing the awareness of fertility nutrition and also, preconception health. So for me, ever since I decided to become a fertility dietitian, I actually also set up, I got this YouTube channel as well, Ria, where I share all these free resources about nutrition, about fertility. And I also very passionate about working alongside with doctors as well, where I also invite fertility specialists and doctor to come to the YouTube platform to also answer some of the common myths about fertility. And how nutrition together to raise that nutrition awareness. I also am frequently also, working with fertility clinic as well to really, once again, like I say, the idea of building that multidisciplinary team as part of the fertility health.
What is the reception that you're receiving from the wider health community? Are they accepting? Are they open to what it is that you're trying to implement here? Or do you find that there might be, what are the challenges, if any, with trying to implement this type of sort of 3-stage referral?
Yeah, I think that, look, if we're talking about in Australia, I think the biggest challenge is that still not getting enough of attention in terms of fertility nutrition, or just across preconception care. Okay. As well as you're thinking about, and when I say not getting enough attention, one is not enough awareness, but secondly, also, at a government level as well, there may not be enough of, subsidy or rebates, talking about seeing a dietitian yet. Right. So that is also one of the factors. Sometimes people may, like, for example, I have a lot of doctors say to me that, look, I know it's very important for nutrition, but when they suggest to, fertility, couples who are undergoing IVF, they suggest patients to see me. But of course, patient might already spend a lot of money going through IVF treatment and not getting enough of accessible type of rebates for dietitian. Yeah. That could be one of the limiting factors that people may not be always or readily think about putting nutrition in the first place. Yeah.
And so I've just had a thought. If you were able to integrate the IVF, I don't want to say experience, I'm losing the words here, but if you were to able to integrate the IVF program, like your dietitian program, into an IVF program, could that potentially solve problems with funding if it's just under kind of the one program? So like you go in for IVF at the clinic and you get a dietitian, you get your IVF specialist, you get your all that stuff. Would that be helpful to kind of package it in that way?
Absolutely, Ria. I think that look, not that I'm gonna say I'm gonna solve all the problems, right?
No, but
But
let's try.
yeah, but I think that even just that one session with the couples to really share with them that important piece of information, like the power of Mediterranean diet, or even just having someone looking at what type of supplement they're getting, or looking at their, nutrition status. Are they deficient in certain vitamins, things like that? I think that that's going to be at least a very, first step we can do for the patient, in preparing for IVF treatment.
Yeah. And in the meantime, you mentioned you have YouTube channels, and plug away. Go.
Oh. Yeah, I've been doing this YouTube channel, like you, Ria, probably about 4 years already. So I love sharing my knowledge. I think that, look, everybody has something so unique to share. And for me, I found that fertility nutrition is something that I want to get across of all of you here. So my channel is the handle it's called at Fertility Dietitian on YouTube. And I also got an Instagram account where you can connect with me at Catherine.fertilitydietitian. Ria, I also got a 7-day free meal plan that I would like to share.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's actually on my website as well. And I'm happy to share the link with you later.
Yeah, we'll chuck all those links in show notes, and we'll chuck it all out to our subscribers on the Substack and everything like that as well. Catherine, as we wrap, any final words of wisdom, or not even wisdom, just final words before we sign off?
Yeah. I would like to, I guess, take this opportunity to let everybody know, if you are someone who are, I suppose, struggling in fertility journey at the moment, there's always a hope for you. Please reach out whenever you need support. And certainly I would say that if you haven't think about or try to explore nutrition before, definitely is something that worth to consider.
Oh, it's so fantastic. Like, honestly, my brain is just so filled. Yeah. Anybody who knows me, I'm very speechless. So that just says to you just how amazingly awesome this conversation is. And surprisingly as well, I mean, we came in to do like an awards episode, and you've just blown my mind about fertility and diet and nutrition. Catherine, I want to say thank you so much for coming on to the Intelligent Rebellion pod. You've been an absolute pleasure, and a really nice surprise, and a really good way to have this discussion. I really didn't think it was going to go in that direction at all, and I'm really happy that it did. So again, thank you so much for coming on. Catherine Chong, fertility dietitian extraordinaire. Thank you.
Thank you, my pleasure.